All right, and welcome back to this is now week 18 of 2024 for the meeting. I do have a couple things that I have to share this week. Thank you to everybody who's joining. Any particular topics you guys have? Let's see.
I don't have a
I'm still
particular
definitely
topic, but
yeah,
later
I'm
on,
still really getting used to this. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna ask, have you ever heard of a framework or anything that we could use for like blockchain and for crypto?
Yeah, I think Nest actually does have something for that. I heard something about that before. That's definitely something I can pull back up.
Okay. Whenever you're
Let's
ready,
see.
go through your thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm still getting really used to this. So there's so many things with Zoom itself. Where is it? All right, let's see. There we are. All right. So are you working with blockchain or
So I
you're looking for
interviewed
a
for a
compliance framework?
position where
Hmm.
they take payments in crypto as well.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so they were interested in having someone that's familiar with blockchain technology and perhaps a framework and things like that.
Yeah, so I'll actually drop this page. Let me go ahead and get this pulled over here. Yeah, so like this is the main page on NIST for blockchain. And they have all kinds of different processes and recommendations on here. So such as emerging identity management systems. But I'm pretty sure I did find some type of like security requirement with it too. But this might be useful. Hey there, Caesar.
How you guys doing? Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, and PBO is going live at 8:30 tonight, or here in about 2 hours. And he'll be going all over ITAR, which we talked about last week.
Yep.
But he'll probably be hopping in here shortly. Let's see. Yeah, so I know about this section here. I kind of got to scour my bookmarks, to be honest. Okay, yeah, this was one of them. Yeah, so this not only talks about blockchain itself, but then also the different development frameworks as well. So there's some development frameworks and security framework for the development side of it. So this might be useful as well. This definitely gives a little bit more information on it.
Yeah, that looks great. Would you mind dropping it into the chat?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Hmm.
And what is this website all about?
So we were just looking at blockchain and blockchain frameworks. So
Gotcha.
Robert was just kind of curious if we heard anything about it before. I have a handful of bookmarks for it. Man, it would be much easier if Zoom didn't keep minimizing ever since those updates. let's see. Yeah, and so like this is one of the articles I've seen before. This is back in October. And it looks like it primarily talks about just the different options of the different parts of blockchain. So you got development frameworks, data management, testing and deploying tools, all kinds of different things to assist with it, things to look for. Yeah, because that's also, I mean, that would work really closely with like AppSec too, I would assume.
I'll be honest, today on Simply Cyber, that was the first time I heard of AppSec, and I was like, oh boy, something else to look into.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite courses that's on cyber. So I still want to go through all of their other content, but they have a really good one for AppSec in particular.
And what is
It's like a
AppSec? Like, what is it?
so AppSec as in application security.
Oh, there we go. Apps. Okay. Oh, apps. Oh, that's a duh moment
Yep,
right there. Duh.
it's another abbreviated term for the industry. Let's see. Yeah, there's a lot of development frameworks. I'm thinking you were looking more on the compliance side though, or security side of it,
Me?
Robert.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Were you looking for the development frameworks for it or more on the security or compliance side?
More on the compliance, since they do more of like processing payments in the gaming industry, so they also accept crypto. Um, and so that's why they were interested in someone that at least understood the blockchain. But I wanted to skip ahead and see if I can get some knowledge on frameworks and start reading through it, just so that I'm a little bit more knowledgeable.
Yeah, so that's a good one. I don't think I dropped this link either.
No, not yet.
So I'll drop this one as well for NIST. But then there's also this one, Blockchain Sentry. So it looks like that's an actual company for security around that. And they have an article on there as well. Yeah, it's actually kind of interesting. Oh yeah, and then here's one from Deloitte too. So here's the one from Deloitte. So security controls for blockchain applications.
And I saw an article today that Deloitte was named as one of the top 10 best companies to work with right now. I think they were ranked number 4.
Yeah, I would, that wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, I mean they seem really good. So,
Yeah,
and the content that they put out. Go ahead.
yeah, I was with Deloitte, and I really have the same opinion. It was really a good company to work for.
That's awesome.
Hey, Chris,
Yeah.
can you do me a favor? Can you throw the blockchain link? I actually want to see it, please.
Yeah, I have all those links in the chat here.
Okay, let me see that.
And then also James on YouTube also was talking about so NIST IR 8200, let's see, 8202 blockchain technology overview. So that's what he had added here. So I'll drop that in chat here on Zoom too. So that's a few different things. Yeah, this article from Deloitte looks pretty good. I gotta put that in chat here. Yeah, and like I subscribe to Deloitte's newsletter. So they actually have a newsletter that you can select like governance and audit
Mhm.
and compliance. I mean, it's really good. It just keeps you up to date with all the articles and white papers that they put out. There's all kinds of information on there. So 8202 blockchains are tamper evident and tamper resistant digital ledgers implemented in a distributed fashion without a central repository and usually without a central authority. At their basic level, they enable a community of users to record transactions in a shared ledger with that community, such that under normal operation of blockchain network, no transaction can be changed once published. So is this, yeah, so it's just a blockchain overview. A nice 68-page read. It's not bad. I mean, this probably goes way more in depth than the Sec Plus did. I did read a little bit, like an article a couple of weeks ago about how blockchain's being used in a lot more than, just crypto now.
Mhm. I mean, one of the main bases for that was to actually store documents and everything. So that's why another reason why it was created. So literally everything, your license, everything could be digitized and just stored there as a contract that no one can tamper with.
Yeah. Prevents not only the integrity of it, but then I think the other part of it is, like even if somebody gets that information, it's hard to kind of connect the dots on who's who.
Mhm.
The technology first came about in 08. Electronic cash. Yeah, there was several months back, it might have been longer than I think, but the US government or the Treasury actually testing out digital currency or something. That's basically cryptocurrency.
Mhm.
Uh,
That's the direction everything's going in.
yeah, so I'll actually try to pull that up too. That was actually pretty interesting. I think it's just a matter of time personally before we go over to a completely digital currency.
So the US government is actually trying to implement something called the CBDC, central bank digital currency. So it's kind of analogous to the cryptocurrency, but unlike cryptocurrency, like here to be managed by the sovereign country, which in this case is the US, or by the Fed here. So it's a blockchain, but it's not like crypto. They will know exactly who is doing what transaction.
What is it called?
CBDC, central bank digital currency.
That actually sounds pretty interesting.
It sounds pretty scary, actually.
It does, right? It's the future. Um, a central bank digital currency is a form of digital currency issued by a bank's central bank, similar to cryptocurrencies, except its value is fixed by the central bank and is equivalent to the country's fiat currency. Many countries are developing CBDCs, and some have implemented them. Yeah,
So the
yeah. So just like you said,
yeah, the basic difference between let's say Bitcoin is it's a non-sovereign, non-fiat currency, but this CBDC, let's say we have a CBDC for dollar, US dollar, then it will be a fiat and sovereign.
and the entire goal is to get rid of the physical currency.
Correct. And so that the supply and demand can be completely controlled by the government.
Rather than having an actual physical piece of paper or otherwise.
Yeah, like you can just plug in numbers into the system and that's your money.
Yeah, I see an article from Bank of America saying that that implemented in the US is unlikely in the near future, but let's see, US Treasury. It does seem to be becoming a lot more popular though.
Yeah, but it comes with all the risks of cybersecurity, right? Because in the crypto space, we have learned about a lot of hacks going on. People like inadvertently exposing their public
Hello
key or
guys, how you all doing?
private key.
How's it going?
All right, Chris. How's everybody? Who else is there? PBO.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I hadn't even heard of this part. So the central bank digital currency, I haven't looked into it too much. I think the bigger issue would be if it turns over to a global currency, sometime in the next 100 years. But yeah, I mean, just like you were just saying, is the cybersecurity side of that too. We already hear about people losing their cryptocurrency all the time. Scammers and phishing, getting out of people's bank accounts. I don't even know if there would really be an advantage to something like this compared to most of what we have now. We already have it digitally in our bank accounts anyways. So I would have to look more into that. But that is
Well,
kind of interesting.
yeah, you mean it, central bank digital currency. The goal is to compete with Bitcoin. The BTC. That your polarized thing. Bitcoin is dominating the global market, so they want to compete. If you don't do that, US dollar will lose value over time because I don't know if you guys observe it, China, Russia, and Saudi, they are all backing out of US dollar. So the central bank is trying to get in there to carve a market for itself. So that has to be done. It has an economic reason. There's an economic reason for doing it, and they have to do it to protect the value of dollar. Otherwise, over time, they are going to dump US dollar as a global currency. Many of them shift it to Bitcoin. So if Fed can get in there and carve a niche for itself, then that will also give US traders opportunity to those that want to go into Bitcoin. This will also be an asset that they want to hold on to. I think that just for me, that's just my understanding of what is going on here.
Yeah, and then I'm dropping this link too because this one seems to break it down a lot more. So this is from November of 23, and it just actually goes through what it is, who's starting to do it, and then it looks like they're also talking about the disadvantages of it as well.
Mm.
So that's some good information there on the topic. Yeah, like I understand why they might want to do it, and it would probably be easier to manage, I would think. But yeah, still from the cybersecurity side of things, I mean, I'm not informed enough on it, but I would imagine that wouldn't be a very good thing to have everything off of one blockchain or in one file, basically.
Yeah, I agree with you. So a lot of hacking going on, a lot of digital currency being stolen, especially by Korea, not Korea. They do that a lot because that's how they fund what they do. They are very good in doing it. And some guys in Russia too, they do the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I think I dropped a link to this IR 8202 as well. I think so. Oh, maybe not.
Okay.
Yeah, so this publication here is the one for blockchain overview from NIST directly. So that one's really great too. I'll probably skim through this one more as well. I only know the very, very basics about what blockchain even is, and this goes way more in depth. Or PBO, maybe PBO has one.
But if you want to play with it, I did a smart contract. AWS has a blockchain database, and you can code it, use it for auditing because you can never change it to add on a blockchain. But AWS has their blockchain database. It was pretty interesting. They got an API. If you code, you can do I did Java because I've done that forever. But I think they had Java, PHP, and some other programming frameworks you can use inside once again AWS and their blockchain database.
Do you know of any security or compliance frameworks for blockchain?
Just the one you pulled up, because you know I'm a NIST guy, so
Okay.
that's the kind of one I was going off of.
I see.
If it ain't this, I ain't doing it. No, I'm just playing. But so yeah, that's the same one I was
Soon
going
it's
at.
soon it's just going to be CSF, right? And
Ooh,
you do not seem to have a video on that one, by the way.
I have not. I'm not that was so cutting edge. I try to stay in the 80%, you know, what most people use. That's only the top probably 2 or 3% was really getting in the blockchain. And I'm not a digital currency guy. I think Samuel brought up some good points. I love economics. I just can never make any money about it. So you talk about M1, 2 controlling the flow of money. You can't do that with blockchain, right? So I think the government's trying to figure out, because now, you know, if they need to speed up the inflation, they just print more money, right? If they want to slow it down, they just take some back. How you do that with digital currency? So from an economic standpoint, so you kind of making the Fed obsolete almost. So
Well, I think it might take less people if you did that, though. I guess you wouldn't need, actual physical banks or anything like that.
I think the banks are really for older people because most people banking online now. So I mean, realistically, unless you're doing some type of business with a bigger dollar amount, that's the only reason you would really need to go into to a bank, right? Unless you're talking to about retirement. So if you're just talking about basic transactions,
Hey, I still think that it's easier and safer to disable cards and pay by check than it is anything else. At least then I have to physically hand that piece of paper over. That's becoming more secure than having a credit card.
yeah,
Well, blockchain is secure though. Except the trick is this: you have to make sure you copy the address. Don't try to enter the address letter by letter or word by word. You have to copy it and paste. If not, if you miss it by one, it's going to go through, but then you're going to lose it because you will not arrive at the destination. Because I use it most of the time, to make payment and to, because I have a couple of business that I put money into. So you have to be very careful that you add any address given to you, have to copy it. And for me, the safest route is to have your own hard wallet, which like razor. Let me see which one do I have. I
Yeah,
have
I
one
think
here
it just
huh?
Yeah, I think it mostly depends on how they actually implement it. Because I mean, like for an example, like we would have to look more into it, but I would assume that, I mean, just instead of using a card number, you would have, a wallet number on your credit card. So
Yeah, use your Ledger S Nano wallet. The safest.
Mhm.
the problem is
People,
they were hacking the on-ramps. Like if you're going from Bitcoin to Ethereum, you have to have some switch technology. Everybody was attacking that and stealing like 100 million. I almost tried it. It seemed so easy, man.
yeah,
I love when the first thing right here is, when is blockchain a problem for privacy? When is blockchain a problem for security? NIST is so awesome. Yeah, so blockchain privacy. So private information stored in a blockchain cannot be deleted. Laws and regulations may require that users be allowed to remove private information from at their request. Thus, there is a need for redactable blockchain and redactable distributed ledger technology. When is blockchain a problem for security? Because security sensitive information stored in a blockchain cannot be deleted, security policies may require deleting data that is security sensitive when it is no longer needed, especially for biometric data. Yeah, and see, that's something I wasn't even thinking about. You could store biometric data, social security numbers, whatever you want in there, really. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Well, and it looks like they're trying to come up with other solutions. So There's a lot of information here, though.
Oh, yeah.
And this was off of the main blockchain page for NIST. I'll drop that in chat too. Wow, I didn't realize that there was so much going on with blockchain, to be honest. Wow. I mean, it's a really
Yeah.
good thing, but at the same time, it can cause a lot of issues. This is the rethinking portion here. Yeah, so like for an example on that link I just sent, there's a link to this, rethinking distributed ledger technology. And I think this is what's going through, talking about like some of its biggest issues and things that need to get fixed, basically. Decentralization, there is no central authority for records. With each update, records are dispersed to peer nodes simultaneously. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. And then I think this was the 8202. Yep. Yeah, like one of the things I wanted to bring up was actually what Caesar posted on LinkedIn earlier. So he posted on LinkedIn regarding a video talking about this here. So there was an actual report that was published July of 23 regarding workforce and education strategy for not just cybersecurity, but it does focus a lot on cyber and the IT industry altogether. I skimmed through this report here. There's a lot of information in here. Basically, in short, the White House and the federal government's working with different organizations, colleges, to provide more scholarships, more funding, more education to the public, and then also trying to get it to where you can get education at a lower price, basically. So that way you don't have to go to school for 4 years, which is like what this press release from April 29th of 24 is talking about, is the adoption of skill-based hiring. So what they're trying to position for is hiring for skills, not necessarily for certifications or college degrees. And then at the very bottom of this here, I'll drop this in chat as well. It talks about all the different companies that they've been working with and what they're trying to do. SANS was in here too. So SANS, they will enroll more than 800 students on full-time scholarships between now and the end of 2025. So SANS is looking for another 800 students for full scholarships. Just so everybody's aware. But the same thing goes with a lot of these other companies like Verizon, different parts of the government. They're just trying to put more money flow through it, make it a little bit easier. And then there's also a few different links in here that go out to apprenticeship. So there is a agency on here. Yeah, so National Cyber Workforce. So their actual website, let's see if I can pull it up again here. Yeah, so their website here, they have this entire page for the internship and apprenticeships. I have not seen this before, so I'll drop this as well. But it links out to all kinds of different websites, including federal government websites to take a look at. They do have like a training center. So they have, let me go back to it. So they have a education training catalog with over 13,000 training courses in education. The problem is that they don't have a way to filter this based on price or anything. So it's over 13 different places that provide training of some sort, but it doesn't really give you much information until you open it up. So that's a little disappointing. But there is other resources on this website as well. The apprentice and internship page I thought was pretty interesting though, especially apprenticeships. So that's not something I see very often in this industry, at least. PBO recently did a video on it, on the internships and apprenticeships.
I did. I put the remote internships out there, but you brought up an excellent point that most of those want you to be working towards a degree. So
Yeah, I mean that's what I've seen. I mean, that's one of the downsides is, I mean, at least what, like I saw one position, I think it was for Cloudflare out of Texas, and it was for an auditing intern. And they wanted like you're in your third year or something like that towards a degree in that field. So as a requirement is what they listed it at.
I think that's gatekeeping.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some people would call it that.
I agree with you.
Especially when you're looking at like internship or apprenticeship, like you're hiring somebody knowing that they don't know how to do the job. So why would you list it as a like hiring requirement for something like that to have like a CISA or CISM or the CISSP? Like there's no reason those should be requirements for apprenticeship or internship.
See, I think for them, they think the only way you can get base skills is in college. And a lot of people doing search labs, try hack me. There's a lot of ways to get base skills. So I think their thinking is the only way you can get base skills is going through a university route.
Yeah, and so that's what I found most interesting about this is that okay, the White House working towards, getting more stuff out there is great and all, but the big thing that they try to position on this is the adoption of skill-based hiring. And that's what they also talk about in this very nicely put article here, is how basically we need to go through and start hiring for skill-based. I mean, it's just that simple. That there's plenty of skilled people out there, but the problem is that there's too many companies that are requiring degrees or unrealistic certifications that are expensive. It's just like SANs are like what, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 a pop.
Yeah.
It looks really good, but that Gerald was talking about that this morning on how it's just out of realm for the majority of people. So. And so I find that part really good about this.
I only know one person that got a SAN cert, and his company paid for him. But I only know one person that has a SAN cert.
And when do you
let me
see they
see.
have them, would you get hired over a lot of people?
What happens
No
is
certification.
their jobs pay for them, so they already hired.
But let's say they leave, or let's say they just have it and they apply like everybody else. Would they get picked over people because they see that?
Yeah, because a lot of times the company that actually paid for them had them in a position where they were using them. That's why they paid for them, right? So now you got the experience and the cert.
Yeah, see, that's the big key thing is that almost all of the people I know of that I've come across with the SANs, maybe 3 or 4 people, it's all either their government agency paid for it or their private health company paid for it that they're working for.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody who's paid out of pocket for SANs.
Yeah. The guy I know used to work for Mandiant. That's one of the top security companies on the planet. So unless you get fired, you're gonna get hired just for working with them.
And like if you went off and got the SANS cert with no experience, like it's just not going to help. Like those companies get you the SANS certs to improve at your current existing role. If you don't have the hands-on experience, I don't think that like without the hands-on experience, getting a SANS cert would be beneficial. It would still look good, but at the same time, like the big thing is being able to demonstrate it.
A lot of people might just give you the benefit of the doubt, though. I don't know.
True, and then I got PBO to do the job for me.
I got you back. So many people don't have SANs. I think you might get the benefit of the doubt because it's just so rare people have them. So that's an interesting question, Chris. If somebody got them and they didn't really have the experience, will companies still, put that up at a higher level, perhaps?
I think it might depend on what it is, to be honest, because you have, like, I was actually just looking at SANS the other day. Let me actually pull up the one I was looking at. So they have some cheaper ones on there, but let's see. So like this is their foundation course. So this is like one of the lowest ones that you can go for, or I think this other one here is one of the lowest ones. So they have this section here. So SANS DoD 8140 foundational resources. So this is free resources through SANS, which I'll drop that as well. This has a really good list of resources, but so that SEC 275 Foundations, Computer Technology and Security. And so it's the GFACT is what they call it. And so it seems to cover, a pretty good overview across the different domains. I think this would be, this would be pretty good, but still it doesn't even cover everything for like SEC Plus, for an example. This is very, very fundamental. And then $3,000 web-based. And then plus you have to pass the certification and the exam is 380. So I'm not the best at math, but I'm pretty confident I could get about half of the CompTIA certifications for that price. So
But you know that as long as the business is paying for it, the government is paying for it, the price will never go down. It will always be going up. That was what happened to school fee with student loan. Student getting loan from the government, jack up school fees. So I think businesses see it as money making opportunity. So its price gonna be going up.
Yeah, they wouldn't. Yeah, they wouldn't have it this high if nobody was paying for it. That's their business model. And I mean, I've heard that the training's really good and everything else. It's just it's out of realm for too many people.
Yeah, that's true. That's a big boy price.
Yeah, well, I would love to take some of the training. I have attended a couple of their webinars, so they do have a bunch of free training webinars. Let me drop this link. There's a bunch of free links for SANS on here. ABCs of cybersecurity, goes to their templates and then also their webinars. I think we talked about that before. Let's see.
I put AWS's blockchain in the chat. If you get to you get to use it for a year for free too. If you sign up with a new email, or you get a year to use it.
Yep. Yeah, that's definitely a benefit with the AWS, to be honest. I'm still kind of trying to decide. I'm probably going to end up working with AWS the most, but that the free resources that they have compared to, and also even the Learning Center for AWS seems I like better than Azure.
No, it is nice. So I'm hoping to start
and I dropped
AWS videos.
Yeah, and I dropped this link in the chat there, and then also Robert was saying that he thinks that the SANS cert would get you more interviews. I don't think that's wrong.
No, I think that it's not interviews, it's the job, Robert. Come on, we talking about the job. Not
I think the biggest problem is being able to actually, like, just imagine getting an interview and then them ask you, what's AAA? So explain a gap analysis to me, like, and then not have any idea, or worse yet, you're working with somebody who actually cares and they actually pull up your certification and they're like, oh, so what's this information? What's security concepts? What did you learn in that module?
Hopefully for 3,000 they're gonna train you up, man. If you act like you're gonna pay 3,000 and learn nothing, Chris, come on, man. You're gonna learn something.
I don't know. I've met quite a few government employees in my past, so.
I'm kind of with you on that one. I'm kind of with you. I told you we were talking about the CISP, so we were having a vigorous discussion about that.
So when does your CISSP training start? You're going to start doing courses for it, right?
I've been doing them I just never followed through with the test, man. I got to get back. But you hurt my feelings because I didn't know the test was changing, man. I just hurt my feelings. So I got to get a couple new books and use that pocket one I think you sent me.
Yeah, yeah, the pocket prep.
Shout out to Don. That's my homie. She's trying to get in GRC. She's trying to do your thing. She's talking about CMMC, so I told her let me know when she's ready. I was gonna put you on the spot and tell her you do your. I was gonna tell you do your CMC Trello thing. So,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say that GRC Academy course. Let me pull this up. So let's see.
Do me a quick favor, Chris.
Yes.
Pull up that Trello. Oh, boom.
I'm already on it. That's what I was just doing.
Ah, my fault. So Don, we can get you on the Trello board and pull up ones with a couple questions on there. You did a great job on them.
Yeah,
would this
so-
be helpful to my group who's trying to figure out how to just have, 9 to 10 people on each of the cards? They're literally pulling people off cards so that we don't have to share the information. I don't know if that's the right thing, but that's what they're doing. But that's beautiful, whatever you created there. I'm on a phone, so I can't see very well. And hello, everyone.
Oh, you're
I'm
good.
John's neighbor. I'm Dawn.
Oh, yeah. She keeps
And I
me
know
in
nothing
line.
about cybersecurity. I took the CPP or the CCP 40-hour class, and I'm just now studying the CAP portion of it. So I'm just
works.
listening.
Yeah, this Trello board right here that I dropped the link to, it's a public board, and so it has all the controls for the it's technically the 800-171 from NIST, which is what the CMMC gets its controls from. And then I have it labeled here with level 1 through 3 based on the level for CMMC. And it's updated to the CMMC 2.0. But you could, in theory, do that. So, like, if you have a group of 10 people, you could use Trello and assign people cards and prevent other people from seeing other cards. There's ways to do that.
So, okay, I have a
If
quick
you were to
question.
do it.
So this is a Trello board that you created using the 3 levels of the CCP for studying? Is that like each of the practices? Is that what you did? I literally can't see on my phone.
Oh, you're fine. Yeah, so it's a Trello board that has all of the different requirements for CMMC. And
okay,
so
cool.
I originally did it just because I got tired of going through and reading from the docs themselves.
Yes.
And so this visualizes it way better. It's organized by the different family groups, and it has labels, it has colors, and it's way better. You could use it for studying, but then also, like we did, take a look at some of the different options on there. And so in theory, you could actually utilize Trello in an auditing aspect as well, but you do have to worry about that, security side of it, whatever sensitive information.
Facts. Give you
Okay,
the
well,
whole-
cool. I'll grab that link for this because that looks beautiful.
Chris, you
Yeah.
got test questions in that one? I know that one guy put test questions in the other one. You got auditing questions
So-
in those?
I haven't put auditing questions in this one yet.
Okay.
So I
okay.
still have to add the rest of level 3 on here. I just haven't gone through and done it yet. But it's not that many controls. So it wouldn't be too bad at all. I already have a spreadsheet that has a bunch of interviewing questions built for a lot of it.
Cool.
That's probably something I should import in here.
Yeah, because I think I want to take your data and put it in Planner. Then I was going to use Planner to come up with poems when I have findings. So I was going to try to do a kind of GRC inside of Office 365 using Office 365 tools.
Yeah, and I have all of the Excel sheets for it, and then also a complete export of this as well. So
You got 53?
It makes
you got
it really
sheets
easy.
you got sheets for 53?
yes, I do. And yeah, so like the 53, I've actually gotten probably the most amount of requests for the 53. I've had probably a dozen people reach out asking for the import sheets that I used for the 53 here. So it does make it a lot easier. Because I mean, compare this to looking through the spreadsheet. Like this, it just makes it so much easier. And then you
yeah.
could search it and everything way easier.
You can search in
I even have-
spreadsheets because I've been doing it, but now, like you said, this is way, way better. Like I said, I'm trying to move it to Planner and
Yeah.
use a SharePoint list and use Planner also to come up with poems. Use SharePoint list to upload policies and procedures in each one of the families from when you import it in from 53.
Well, and one of the biggest things that I like about the 53 in particular on Trello is the fact that I have it set up with the baselines. So like you could select to just display the low level baselines here.
Mhm.
Like that's really useful actually.
That's cool.
And then you could use this like a checklist, you know, at
Oh,
least
fact.
for the management side. And then you could use a different system to actually track like the evidence and sensitive information.
The cool thing though is you don't have to do it is upload the STIG checks that rolls up into the security families in 853. Right from the tech
To map
part.
it?
Yeah. Because if you look at the STIG is going to say, go to Active Directory and, you know, cut this particular check on. That check is going to say it rolls up into access control A1, right? So that tech check rolls up to the security families of A1.
Yeah. Yeah, I had experimented a little bit with it because I haven't worked on the Trello boards too much lately, but it's possible. So I was looking at trying to do mapping with it before because it would be really useful. So I did finally, so NIST did actually put out a 50 the CSF to 53 a couple weeks ago.
I've seen it.
But with the Trello boards, you could actually do mapping in between the boards too. It's
It comes
it's
in
a pretty
handy.
manual process.
Yeah, it's
But,
brutal,
you know.
but that we do that a lot though, because depending on the audit, like we got a state board account audit, which I think was a CSF audit, but the IRS audit was a 800-53. So a lot of times when you're in security, you might be doing 4 different audits for 4 different agencies that's touching 4 different compliances.
Yeah. Yeah, I came across one of the sheets for, I think it was New York City or something, just a template when I was looking for like an ISP template or something. And they literally had like 6 or 7 different sheets of different frameworks trying to map them across.
It's funny you mentioned that. I'm about to do New York's got this new privacy law and we were talking about that at work a while before. I'll drop it in the chat. So I think that's gonna be it's similar to CCPA, and I think it's gonna be hot. So I think that's gonna be my next video. Shout out to Caesar. I wanted to do something for him.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
So you know we're going on at 9:30. I gave you an extra half an hour. Go ahead.
Yeah, I told him that he needs to stop bribing you.
I know he's trying to make a move, man. I was there. He's trying to have an intelligent conversation. So I want to make sure he's in the mix. So, and Caesar, I'm gonna drop you my slides too after I talk to him, so you'll have them if you want them.
Yeah, of course.
I know you did. So I'll drop them inside Discord.
So privacy, you were saying?
I just dropped it in the chat.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
So that's it. But yeah, so that's a lot of people been talking about that lately. They think it's gonna be harder than CCPA. I'm like, come on, man. I thought CPA was gonna be though.
And which one is it?
It's New York banking.
Oh, okay.
There it is. So
that affects. Oh, I see. Okay, I see.
So it's supposed to be super popular. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's actually something I'll take a closer look at. I mean, at least they do have some training resources. I mean, that's
yeah. So
amended cybersecurity regulation.
Which I'm like, dude, just do this CSF for 800, man. Why everybody creating their own, man? So that's kind of.
You could say the same thing about State Ramp. Thank you.
Oh, I do. The only thing I like about State Ramp is they use STIGs, and I'm a STIG guy, so that's the only reason I like State Ramp.
Yeah, I going through the material for the CIPP. Boy, is that eye-opening as far as like data privacy laws and regulations. Wow. Yeah. Um,
Yeah, I
d-
thought 800 had a lot of that covered, and I was sadly mistaken when I started looking at that.
yeah, there's a lot that is when you're looking at like the state and federal side of it, there is so much that's involved with it. You know, like I think there's like 10 different agencies and then dozens of different regulations and privacy law. That's what I'm working on trying to learn. And then it's interesting to see stuff like this. I wonder if this is actually included on this 24 this exam for the CIPP because this is November of 23. So
Might be in there.
they update it every
New York's a
October.
big
Mhm.
financial city / state, so you know they get to drive a lot of that. So
Yeah.
but
All
yeah,
right. I
so
got that in chat there.
yeah, I hear that a lot. So I think that might be my next video. I was getting a lot of questions about this on my hell. I don't know what that is. Let me look it up, man. There's so many things out there.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a closer look at this one too. I think that's definitely worth it. That's not a bad thing, but I mean, I'm kind of surprised that they're not just going with something like a what is that? Is it safe haven?
Yep, safe
I think
haven.
yeah, that the other states are doing.
I think
That
they're
kind of
trying to.
seems to be the route.
I think they're trying to one up each other. I think Cali went with GDPR. Now New York's trying to be better. I'm sure DC's going to come out with something crazier. I'm
Yeah,
surprised we
who
don't
could
have
do it better?
yeah, I'm surprised we don't have a federal regulation for that. That's the thing that's surprising.
For privacy?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. There's quite a few different things that could be on the federal level, but not. It would make things a lot easier, especially when you're talking about privacy. Like, look at the GDPR. Like,
I thought CCPA
yeah.
was going to be it. I just thought everybody was going to, but this seems to be getting a little more traction than CCPA now.
Well, and I'll have to look at it again. But this Colorado has one that's really similar to the CCPA as well. Like Colorado and Denver, or well, Colorado and California are like two of the strictest ones for data privacy, actually,
Yeah, but I
which
always said,
I never knew.
yeah, I knew that, but I feel like if I did CCPA, I would have Colorado on that cover because it seemed to be a little more restricted.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So, but with this, I don't know now.
Well, I mean, at least they have the information out there, hopefully. It doesn't look like it's fully implemented though, is it?
Yeah, there was a couple other sites. I don't know. Let me dig into it. Like I said, I just kind of perused it. I haven't dug into it yet. I still use the
GSPB.
853. They got a privacy family in there, so and I use that with
So
CCPA and say I'm good.
so next week, you'll go through the privacy framework and the New York one.
Maybe I said that last week. I don't know.
Next Wednesday.
Yeah, work's been just kind of tearing me up lately, so I've just been tired. So, but I'm hoping to get back on and start producing a little more code. But there's my GDPR, and I have a CCPA one too, I think.
GDPR 11 months ago.
Yeah, then there's a CCPA one out there.
7 months. Yep. So that's really good. Yeah, not bad at all. Yeah, I was kind of looking for the privacy framework part. After I go through and actually pass the CIPP, then I want to go through and dig into the privacy framework with NIST. But one of the things that I found out about the CIPP is that so they update it every year in October. And the reason that that's an issue is because anything that's changed since October, you know, like with GDPR or like this thing with New York or whatever, doesn't count on that exam. So, you know, that's where like going off of the study material is important rather than looking at the current status
Right.
because it's changed. So
they usually give you a year to implement too. So, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
a year to implement.
Yeah, like NIST Red 5 came out a year ago, but they was like, okay, it's gonna be, you get to implement it
Mm.
a year and a half from now, because it takes you, you gotta buy new hardware, software. Sometimes it might cost you money depending on what that particular finding is.
Yeah, so like for an example, when I take the exam for the CIPP, it'll be based off of the information for like the GDPR in October of 23. Anything that's changed since October of 23 won't be on the exam at all until after October of 24. It's always 1 year back. So that's kind of one of the things I'm a little worried about, is because like the stuff that I found is talking about how you shouldn't rely, or you shouldn't like research outside of the study materials because it's going to affect your testing basically. So like if one thing about one of the privacy frameworks got changed in the last year or since October of 23, that's not going to be on the exam, and I could end up answering it incorrectly, like 10 days to delete the data, or 14 days.
Yeah, but they usually know that, so they usually don't give you an answer that will, conflict with those two.
I hope not. I
Well,
hope not.
they used to. They could be changing it because they know that could happen, right? So they try to
Yeah.
not
Well,
give you.
they have it in the book of knowledge for it. The book of knowledge, I think is what it's called, or base of knowledge. Yeah,
Thought it was book.
that
I could
actually
be wrong.
states that.
I thought it was book.
But yeah, it's kind of interesting. Which of the following is the most important if you have an international vendor processing personal information for your organization? To determine whether a data processing agreement is required, to ensure auditing rights, to designate personal information for processing within the state only, or to ensure the bidding process abides by the rules.
I would say one.
Yeah, you're correct. To
The
determine
thing,
whether a data processing agreement is required.
yeah. The other one, I don't like the wording of that, because that language sounds like GDPR language. We talk about data processing.
It is.
So, and I see that a lot in contracts. I used to see that a lot. So so now I'm like, okay, is this a GDPR contract? We starting to use a lot of GDPR language. So I was like, send it to legal.
Yeah. At least with what I have gone through so far, a lot of it is worded like that. A lot of it is very much on the legal side. It's actually way more on the legal side than I thought it was going to be.
Remember we had a conversation. I used to do a ton of legal work. I was surprised. When you do RFP, I'm looking and when we looked at Trello, that DPA data process agreement, that's all legal. So I think that's a hidden gem.
Yep.
It's part of third party assessment, is looking at that DPA, those legal terms, and making sure we're not overstepping or giving away our intellectual property to Trello. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I think especially like with AI coming out and everything else that's going on in the industry, privacy across the board, whether it's like for end users or the business or the software, like everything requires that type of mindset. So I think it's a really good thing to research. There is a lot of information around it though.
Yeah, I just kind of eased into it over my career. So, but yeah, when you jump into it, it's a lot. Like you said, it's especially now with privacy. Once again, CCPA, GDPR, New York. So all of that's kind of getting spun up. Then when you talking about going internationally, you talking about PIPA in Canada. Brazil's got some kind of law. It's a ton of stuff out there. I was looking at on the continent. Go ahead.
Did you guys see this post from this guy?
Which one?
Eunice guy. Let me see the link. Pull it on, see what he said about why most HR don't like testing.
Well, we talked about that guy. Asher, go ahead. Let Asher chime in. Go ahead, Asher. Is that your last name? I'm messing your name up.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, this is Avinash. So I have a question about the new CompTIA Security Plus cert.
Mhm.
So what do you all recommend? Like I'm planning to take the cert in like let's say next 3-4 months. So I have still some time to go for the old one, which is about to expire, or wait for the new one and take that. So which one would you recommend that I should take?
Which
I
one you're
would
up
say
to?
the 701 without a doubt.
Is that the
Yeah.
newer one or the is that the
The
newer
new one,
one?
yeah.
I told him which
Yep.
one ever think he could pass, but listen to Chris. But because for
Uh,
me, my only little disagreement with Chris is you're going to continually learn anyway, right? So even the old or new one, we're about learning, working up on your skills. But I think Chris is right. Probably if you take the newer one, um,
So the reason why I say the newer one is because everyone I've talked to lately, like there's like three different people I know that passed recently. And like SlaySec Plus as well. They work with people all the time and like they have well, everything I've heard is that the newer exam is laid out way better. So it's identically the same material. It's all the same
Mhm.
material, the same topics. They've changed around a little bit of the wording. And then they reorganized it. And then they added like two different topics onto it as well. So now there's a little bit of like generative AI, just so you have a basic understanding of that as well.
ooh,
But the layout of it is way better than the 601.
Yeah.
So I took also the CompTIA Cloud Plus exam, the beta version of that in February. I'm
Uh-huh.
still the CompTIA Cloud Plus beta. So they're rolling
Mhm.
out these beta exams to see how people are performing so that they can formulate the actual exam based on that.
Mhm.
So I still haven't got the results. So does anyone have idea like when CompTIA publishes their results for beta exams, if any of you have taken it?
no, I haven't.
I don't
I
know.
have no idea.
You
Yeah.
you can contact them, send them an email or call them.
Yeah, I think it really depends on their timeline. I don't know if they have it scheduled out like a set time. Uh, and then also like the other thing is like the 601, I know that there's deadlines for that. So I think it's like July is the set
Yeah,
deadlines for this 601.
yeah.
So
Just
Yeah,
take the 701.
why I asked about the
yeah.
601 is because I need to take this exam. I don't know when 701 will be rolled out. So the 601
No,
Oh,
is not
701 is
70.
offered at
already
the.
out. 701
Oh,
Yeah,
it's okay.
701's
out.
already out.
It's already
Yeah.
out.
Okay.
Yeah, so the
People are already
But
701
taking it.
got released in like January, and then they
Yeah.
provide like 6 months of support for the previous one. So you're already ready to go. And then yeah, like I have a bunch of different links that I could send you to if you want to reach out to me on Discord.
sure,
So,
yeah.
because there's like a Udemy course that's available for the 701. I definitely recommend like the Professor Messer courses as well on
Mhm.
YouTube, which is free.
But there's some discounts on the 601. So I was looking for, let's say, to cash on the discount. I was planning to take the 601,
Okay.
but then yeah, the last date for that is May 6th or 5th to avail the discount.
So what kind of a like is it significant? Because I don't see a discount for mine.
Yeah, it is about 15% discount. But again, that's for the 601.
Yeah.
Well, mine shows the same price for the 601.
Yeah, I
Do you
received
have
the
an
email too for the
educational
discount.
discount?
No, it's a
It's just a promo
discount from.
they are running. I received it too. If you're on their mailing list, they will send it to you.
Yeah, there is
I
a
see.
voucher code that we have to use while checking out.
Oh, okay.
And I think one
I mean,
professor, yeah,
yeah, I mean, I could definitely see, wanting to go through and do that part. The only thing that we would have to double check is to make sure that you'll have the time to do it, because I'm pretty sure there's a cutoff of like July. I think it's like July 14th or something, will be the deadline that you have to test out by. So I would definitely confirm that and see what the deadline is. So, I mean, I took the 601. If I had to choose, I would still choose the 701, but if you're getting a significant discount, like, and you're going to complete it within whatever deadline there is, like, I don't see why not.
Yeah, since I'm already like I have foundational knowledge of cybersecurity concepts from the CC exam by ISC2, so I don't have any experience so far, but and I have already taken the Cloud Plus exam, which was kind of difficult for me because I didn't have any experience then. So I know how the CompTIA exam is kind of framed out. So yeah,
So
but
have
I'm
you,
just confused. Yeah, sorry.
oh, you're fine. So have you looked over the objectives for it, for the 701?
I went through the 601 objectives, not the 701 so far, because I didn't know if 701 was out. Just
Oh, you're fine.
you told me. Yeah.
Yeah, so like the 701 and the 601 objectives are, like I said, the material is pretty much the same. They've just restructured how it's laid out. So the reason I ask you, like I said, I can send you a bunch of links of the different courses that I would recommend, but like I've looked at the CC material, and the CC material doesn't even get close to the Sec Plus, in my opinion. Like the amount of topics and objectives that you have.
It's two different things, by the
Uh,
way.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think he realizes that part, but yeah, like the CC from ISC squared, it doesn't really come close to the Sec Plus. It's a very, very broad in comparison. There's way more on the Sec Plus.
Especially I think the picture-based question, the scenario-based questions, right? Like the CC exam was mostly just multiple choice questions. Here, like you have scenarios, you have to drag something on the screen and fill up some blanks like that. This
Yeah,
I
so
know
like
from, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, so like the Sec Plus is mostly multiple choice, and then you can get a number of performance-based questions, and that's where you have like the drag and drop, or like you have to select.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, I was just trying to just make it more clear on the fact that like it's way more extensive than the CC is.
So can anyone
So
like get through the exam without experience, or experience is needed? Like to work in some IT field?
you could certainly get through it with no experience, but you definitely have to study. So especially with you already going through the CC, it's going to be easier for you because it still does go over a lot of the same topics, but there's still more that you would have to learn on top of it. So like the different training courses and material that's out there for it, I mean, I would mostly focus on the topics that you're not sure of. So like what I did, and I can send you my spreadsheet, but I actually went through and I copied all of the different objectives into a spreadsheet, and then I created another column to select whether or not I knew it or if I didn't. Because when I'm studying for something, I really like the ability to go through and like mark like what I feel comfortable with it. And I think that would be the best strategy for you since you already have some understanding, and then you could really just narrow in on the topics that you're not too familiar with.
Correct, yeah. Thanks.
Because there's a lot of topics that are in the Sec Plus.
Too much, too many, too many. I'm doing the studies right now, and there's a lot.
Yeah, so I still think it would be easier for you, but there's still a lot of material here. How soon were you looking at testing out? Like how much time are you able to put into it?
Like in 4 to 5 months time.
Oh, yeah.
If I was
How
going to take the
often?
601, yeah, 601, that would have been sooner, but yeah, if I'm going for 701, so I can prepare well, give myself some time there.
Yeah, and I'll actually try to look that up here real quick. Did you want to message me on Discord so that way I have your information there?
Yeah, sure. If you can drop the link into the chat.
Yeah. See.
I'm not on Discord, so I have to open an account and then chat.
Oh,
But
okay.
I think
Are
I
you on
sent
LinkedIn?
you I sent you a request, a connect request on LinkedIn.
Okay. That's perfect.
Just looking at Jason Dion's 701 course on Udemy, and so there's like fundamentals of security, threat actors, physical security, social engineering, malware, data protection, cryptographic solutions, risk management, third-party vendor risks, governance and compliance, asset and change management, audits and assessments, cyber resilience and redundancy, security architecture, infrastructure, identity and access management, vulnerabilities and attacks, malicious activity, hardening, security techniques, alerting and monitoring, incident response, investigating an incident, automation and orchestration, security awareness. Yeah, it's pretty comprehensive actually. Like the CC exam only covered some of it, but a lot of the things are new. I don't see any AI directly here. It might be hidden in some of the sections, but yeah, it's like a comprehensive course. Yeah.
Yeah, so when I went over it before, it comes out to like over 300 different topics for the Sec Plus. The hardest parts for me was the networking and the encryption topics. Those were the hardest sections for me to grasp. But so yeah, I can send you the actual objectives list for the 601 or 701. And then, like I said, going through and figuring out which ones you're familiar with and which ones you're not, so that way you could focus on those would probably be the best strategy.
Correct.
It's just way more in depth than the CC is. The CC is not bad. It still gives you some good knowledge and it gets your foot in the door with ISE, but it's still not nearly as extensive. Let's see. But yeah, so I have you on LinkedIn now, and then later I'll send you some of the different ones that I recommend. That Udemy course from Jason Dion that you were just mentioning I definitely recommend that one. That's a really good course. And so I actually got that one with a coupon code, so it was only like $15.
Correct. Yeah. I'm dropping in the chat the vouchers that I was talking about. There's a Reddit section for that. People are talking about like if there's a school account, they get some discount.
Yeah, so if you have a .edu, then you get like a 50% discount on the exam. I don't recommend the bundle though. It looks like they're talking about the bundle here from CompTIA.
Yeah, and there was this coupon code from Google if one joins their Google Cybersecurity Professional Certificate, and I don't know if that's still active or not, but they're offering like I don't know how much. I think it was 50% discount, but yeah.
So the Google Cybersecurity one provides a 30% off.
Oh yeah, 30%. Sorry, 30%. Correct.
Oh, you're good. Yeah, and then but if you do have a .edu, it would be better to purchase through the education store on CompTIA, and then you get like a 50%.
On CompTIA?
So
for the full
yes, on
bundle?
CompTIA.
Wow. Because I'm still
so yeah,
affiliated with the
I think they have
university,
it.
so I think
Yeah, let me pull it up here. So let's see. All right, so yep, so this is the academic store. So I'll drop the link to this. But this is, if you have the .edu, this is definitely the best option to go through to purchase it. So browse bundles. So the Security Plus training bundle. Let's see, they have multiple different ones. Sec Plus. So it looks like they only have the full thing here. Yeah, they don't have just the non-live training one. So it is limited on it. Let's see.
So can one get the discount by using the .edu account for just taking the exam? Like if they don't need the training and all that, because we can have that on Udemy or other platforms.
Yeah, so if you do have the .edu, then going through the academic store here, which I just dropped a link for, would be the best option. It looks like if you go for the bundle, they only have the live training bundle. I purchased the bundle training and I don't it didn't really work for me. I did the Cert Master bundle and it would probably be different for the live training if you were to do that. But like I said, there's a lot of training out there. So I personally recommend just the voucher and then get your training like from Udemy, and there's a couple other training courses or books out there as well.
Correct. Yeah. And this
Especially since you already have knowledge.
This is a single exam or there are two exams I'm forgetting for Security Plus?
It's a single. Yeah, so that's a single voucher.
Yeah.
Oh, I think the CISA Plus is 2 exams, right?
Which one?
The CISA Plus, Security Analyst.
Oh yeah, that's basically this. That's if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, Chris. That's basically the CC for the CompTIA, if I'm not mistaken. And yes, it will be two different exams. No, he's not talking about the CYSA.
I don't believe so. So if you purchase a bundle, you usually get 2 exam vouchers. You have a backup one if you fail the first time. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about like there are 2 exams. Like one is to complete both of those exams to get certified.
Oh,
so the only one that I know of for that is with CompTIA is just the A+. The A+ has 2 different exams that you have to take to achieve it. I don't think there's any other ones that have 2 separate exams that you have to take. So like you can see on my screen here, it shows the A+ voucher, exam 1101 and 1102. This is the only one from CompTIA that I know of that requires two different exams to be taken to achieve it. So the CISA also is only just 1 exam.
Oh, it's 1 exam. Okay.
Yeah. So the A+ is the only one that doesn't. And I believe the difference between it on A+ is one of them is mostly on hardware, and then the other one is like actual hands-on, like computer diagnostics is my understanding, I believe. But yeah, all the other ones are just single exam. But going through that academic store would definitely be a really good option. And then, like I said, I'll send you more resources and some of the recommendations I have for it. And especially going through that CC, like you'll probably knock out half of the different topics here for the objectives for it. And then let me drop this too. So Professor Messer, he has a playlist on YouTube here. For, he has one for the 601 and the 701. But I'll drop the link for the 701 here. You can also look at his channel. He has all kinds of other information here. And so it's a really quick like review of each one of the different topics. So there's 121 videos here for the 701, and it goes over each objective. I don't personally feel that it's enough to pass the test. You definitely want to get a diverse input, but it still gives you a pretty good understanding, and it still helps to understand some of the different topics. And again, like for you, I would go through and just pick and choose what you're not familiar with. Let's see. All right. And then PBO, you have 36 minutes. Let me
Thank
check
you.
this.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
I'm
Chris,
ready to. Yeah, it's
for
not a
all
problem
the
at all. And like I said, I'll
resources.
follow up with you on
Yeah,
LinkedIn
sure.
too.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, we just linked up on LinkedIn.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, I'm ready to hear about more about this ITAR, considering there's not much information out there. I
Hey,
hope
hey,
you're ready for questions.
yeah, definitely. And I'm loving what I'm seeing. I'll just say that much.
So I hit you with
Um,
those slides, Caesar. So
I
you
know
know.
that's what exactly what I'm talking about. I'm
I
loving
thought
what I'm
so.
seeing.
I thought so. I thought so.
Oh man.
I hit it with a little AWS at the end. So AWS fanboy. Showing AWS love. Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead. My bad.
Oh, you're fine. You're good. One of the other things I was going to share here too is the privacy paradox. So I attended that privacy meetup with the Australian group, Cybersecurity Champions of Tomorrow on LinkedIn, and this was shared during that workshop. And I just found this really interesting. The more I dig into the privacy and data privacy side of things, I'll be sharing a lot more about this. What I'd like to do is I'm already working on like an actual infographic that's going to encompass the objectives of the CIPP as I go through it. I'm going to try to categorize the different laws and regulations you have to know, along with some of the key highlights for each one. So I look forward to putting that together as I go through everything.
You're
It'll
gonna do
also
your
help me
YouTube
learn it
video
better.
on it, man. You're gonna do your YouTube video on it.
Oh yeah, there will be a few YouTube videos. There's so much information. And I'll give you plenty of other things for you to make content on too. Let's see. But so what's interesting about this website here is that it talks about one of the biggest issues on why people don't care about privacy. So like based on statistics, where is it? So I don't want to misquote it, but based on statistics, so a 2017 survey found 69% of Australians were more concerned about their online privacy than in 2012. And then there's another statistic that's on here too, that talks about how a large majority of people, it's well over 50% of people care about their privacy. But the privacy paradox talks about how people care about their privacy, but they're not willing to take the steps to ensure their privacy. Like people will still click on phishing links, they'll enter their email for a raffle, they'll sign up for all these different accounts and never close them or whatever, but they'll still say, "Oh yeah, I care about my data privacy and my online privacy and security and everything else," but they're not taking the steps to actually, or keep it private or otherwise. And so it's kind of contradicting itself. But I found it kind of interesting. So this was just a nice, quick little fancy page that they put together. And it is directed on the Australian side of things, but I think it's just as true in the United States too.
But you know why people do that?
I'm sorry?
Do you know why people are like that? It's a case of out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, I think it's taking the what is it called? Less resistance, the easiest route.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It requires more
Mind, yeah.
steps. That's where like using email aliases come in, or enabling 2FA. One of the big things that I recently did was I moved a lot of the different stuff away from like SMS 2FA. That's becoming more and more of an issue. But that's the thing, is it's time consuming, or even thinking about it is time consuming. Going through and closing accounts, using email aliases, the management side of it, all of this different stuff. It still takes more time than if you were to just not care about it at all.
Even the login process, to log in, it takes time. If you're using MFA, if you use it to MFA, it takes time.
Well, and I'm curious your guys' opinions too, because something that I found really fascinating is more and more services are using passwordless hardware keys.
Yes,
so
yeah.
like what's your opinion on that, PBO? Because like in one aspect, I kind of like it, but in another, like it's actually kind of scary because now you don't have to enter a password. You just have your device, your hardware device plugged in, and it just automatically signs in.
To be
It's
honest, I
kind of
got it.
scary.
Yeah, I've been doing passwords for forever. So for me, that's a huge shift. But the research says, change your password every 90 days, and that's the best thing either. Right. I've been doing that for 20 years though. So
What about the use of token? Have you guys used token when you log in? You don't enter password, they send you a token to log in.
yep.
Has that happened to you?
Yep. If you're doing any privileged accounts in the government, you gotta do a MFA token, phone, code to the phone, YubiKeys. So if you privileged, you're gonna have to do something. And like I said, I've been doing that forever. So for me, it's just kind of ingrained in how I work.
Okay.
So
Yeah, for me, it's definitely it definitely feels really weird because I've now enabled that passwordless on a few different things, and more services are supporting it. So, like when I go to sign in, it just automatically signs in with my
I don't like that.
passwordless
I don't like that.
key.
It took me forever to get used to
Yeah.
SSO. It took me used to, even when I'm in, then doing SSO to other apps. I still don't really like that, but
Yeah, it's a really weird experience to be honest. Like I literally clicked on a bookmark and then it just auto signed in. I'm like, that's not right. That's
yeah,
weird. And it's like, yeah, and then it pops up a little notification letting me
NIST,
know that it's auto.
yeah, NIST did a ton of research on that though, man. So I just, like you said, I think me being an old dog, I just got to get used to that new trick, man. Like I said, NIST been talking about that for a decade, passwordless logins.
Well, and moving forward, I think it's a really good strategy to be honest, because the hardware, because it's basically a hardware key is what it is, just like a YubiKey. Now you still have a few different issues and security concerns with that, but I feel, especially like for a business, for an example, that may be a very effective method to keep your account secure. That would be easy to pull. It's easier. It could be easy to manage if you have a system for it. It would be a lot better than, having passwords for hundreds of accounts or people setting their own. It's faster.
Yeah, a lot of those wallets got hit recently though. So is that the honeypot though? People hate when I say that. Is, if you get that, then I get to log in on all your stuff with a little effort. So
well, true. And see, that's one of the issues I have is like, oh, okay, it's hardware based. Well, then it's the same thing though. So like if your device gets hacked, if you get pwned on your device, then you're screwed. Like that's just the fact of the matter. But it's the same thing even if you use an actual password.
Well, a lot of times though, if you get pwned and you use an MFA, you should be okay, right? Because they won't have your phone or whatever you're using for the second part of that MFA. So when you do passwordless, do you get a token on your phone to do a part of it, or is it just straight in? So it's
straight in.
So that cuts out your lateral movement, right, with the MFA part. Now, theoretically, I could go to pay somebody to get your SIM card, right? But that's a whole different level of, of hacking.
Well, and so, like, I really don't like the fact of, I personally don't care for the text message 2FA, personally. But there are services that are now doing to where you can have passwordless, but so you can have passwordless as your first login, but then still require a 2FA code that gets emailed to you or text to you. And so like one issue I have with that though is that, okay, if somebody gets access to my device, okay, they have the hardware key. Okay, but now they need to get a 2FA key. But if they already have access to my device, then they have access to my email account. So like that's not really a great strategy either.
That's not bad because
that is why you direct the second one to your phone though. You don't use your email back to back.
True.
While they log into your computer, email, you also need your computer.
Multi-device.
You are better than you use your mobile device, your cell phone, and computer. There are two devices. So one will only be with you all the time.
Right. Right.
Yeah, that is one way you prevent that.
Yeah. So like,
Yeah, and see, like with the passwordless where it auto signs you in, like I said, it's a very weird experience. And so what I would like to see in the future is that secondary, because it seems there's only one service. So there's like 6 different ones that I've been able to set it up on so far, and more companies are allowing it now. I think overall it's pretty secure. However, I would like an added option, because there's most of them don't allow you to have it to where, oh, let me sign in with passwordless and ask for my 2FA code. So then it's 2 layers that are required. I think I would prefer that, to be honest.
yeah, that's
So then, yeah, rather than just passwordless, which is kind of scary, especially when you're used to entering passwords.
yeah. At least they should make you
I
put your
thought that was
thumbprint in there
interesting.
or something. Say, put your thumbprint on there or something.
Yeah, and see, that was my other thing that I was thinking about, is like on mobile, for an example, using passwordless is great, but then you could still use, biometric. You could use, a PIN code, something
Yeah.
on top of that passwordless. Let's see. But so yeah, I dropped this link here. I think I put it on YouTube as well. Oh, maybe not. Yep, so there's the link to that one. Oh yeah, and then I should pull that up as well. Did anybody else have any other topics to pull up?
I posted a link. There's a link there from
Oh,
Linus
that's right.
guy. He has a post on LinkedIn. Why hiring or recruiters don't like certification. It's a bunch of multiple choice questions, and you have people paying to take it for you. So they rely more on the skills.
How can somebody take a certification like CompTIA for someone? Is that even possible?
Yeah. Yes, possible. Yeah.
People were doing
So-
fake IDs and all
It's
kind of
possible.
stuff, man.
That's
Yeah,
why you
so
put the
it's-
ad. You see the ad there. The ad there. People the avatar. Yeah, people that do that. It's possible.
Damn.
Yeah,
that's-
so that's one reason why I'm kind of picky about who I add on LinkedIn too. Because like I've personally gotten all kinds of different, I mean, probably 6 different people, if not more, who have messaged me, and they're like, oh, for $200, I can get you the CISSP or whatever.
Yeah, I
Um,
got that before.
Yeah,
I
and
was
it's
the only
nothing but
I get
well,
that
there's
too.
issues with that being a phishing or a scam entirely, but then also there have been cases that have been caught on that actually being a thing, with people who will actually take the exam for you, because with a lot of these, with CompTIA, you could take the exam remotely. There's a lot of things that they do to prevent that. Like with CompTIA, you actually have to, it's through Pearson VUE, and so you actually have to download their software onto your device, which prevents you from using things like a VPN and, all kinds of different other security measures. There not only is there a bunch of risk that's involved with that, with using somebody's service like that, but there's also no guarantee either that you're actually they're gonna actually be able to get you to pass. But yeah, I mean, it is an actual issue. Like I've seen things about CompTIA catching people with it and things like that. So
With
yeah,
ISO
it's
square,
Well, yeah,
Go
because
ahead.
what somebody do, they will remote you to your computer. They will remote to your computer and do it from your computer, man. You're an IT, man.
correct. But like I've seen a couple cases where like people got scammed in that actually. Like there was actually somebody on LinkedIn who said, hey, I paid this guy $200 to take this exam for me, and they took my money via PayPal, and I never heard from him again. And so that's an actual problem. Like not only can they scam you, but then what are you supposed to do about it? Like
Call the
it's
police,
just
man. Call the FBI.
yeah, it's just a bad situation. And like I said with Pearson VUE, like you have to download the software on your device. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty risky. But it's just so like that post that you shared there, him talking about how that's one reason why they disagree with the multiple choice exams. There's been quite a few people who have talked about that too, because You know, like that's one reason why like TCM, what is it? TCMsec.com, I think is what it is. Yeah, TCM security. So like their stuff is all hands-on. You know, their exams are actual hands-on. They don't do multiple choice. You know, you actually have to prove that you can do it, which makes the
Okay.
exam a lot more difficult.
Mhm.
Yeah, AWS DevOps, 40% of it, you got to do 3 labs, and it was brutal.
Yeah. But see,
Yes.
like in like that post there, I don't necessarily see how transferring over to a hands-on lab would make a difference though, because it's still virtual. I took an exam
Yep.
through TCM and I didn't even have to download any software. TCM doesn't require me to download anything. So, I mean, of course, it's unethical and everything else, but changing to hands-on and moving away from multiple choice isn't going to stop people from
Cheating.
hiring people or offering services to take it for them.
Mhm.
Yeah, one
I
point.
don't think.
Actually, one point I wanted to add about this, with IS Square, something interesting is they also do this vein scan,
Yep.
the biometric vein scan. So I thought that's quite, I mean, in terms of can it be scammed or somebody else taking up exams for, especially the ISC Square certification, I don't see much of a possibility there. But that was an interesting experience for me. Like I did it for the CC certification. And then when I
Mhm.
went to the CISSP, they had my data already in the system. So they just had to verify if I'm the right person or not.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I've looked at that before, and that actually really scares me. That stood out to me when I was looking at the exam stuff, which I have up on the screen here. So it's not at all of the testing centers, but the testing centers that do have the ability for palm vein scans, they do have that as a requirement. And if you're not comfortable with it, then you have to get permission from ISC Squared to not do your palm vein scan.
Oh, thumbprint. Yeah, I do thumbprint. We take a
Yeah, that's a
temperature.
really good point to bring up though. Because I mean, like that's I understand why they do that, but still like it like the CISSP you can do remotely too, right? You don't have to do it on site.
No, it is on site only.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know that either. I didn't know that.
At
Yeah, I
PN
know this. I know the CC you can do remotely. So oh no, maybe not. No, you're
Yeah,
right.
I took CC also in person. Like I went to the center. There was this college here who was doing the exam for
Yeah,
CC.
Mhm.
yeah, I always go on site. Because I heard people had problems. The center thought they were doing something that they wasn't doing, and I live like 10 minutes from a center, so I usually just drive in, so I don't have to worry about any extra.
You can
Yeah,
do
I
it for
got
home too.
confused.
I do it from home.
I don't want to do it from home, man. Because somebody
I
said
Yeah,
put
I
it.
got
they got interrupted in the middle of the test because they thought they were cheating or something. So
Yeah,
Yep.
you
That may
can't
happen.
just move around when you're home or do anything when you're home.
No.
I prefer
Then-
writing at the center.
Yep.
yeah, I live super
Yeah,
close to the center.
I got confused because that's actually one reason I didn't go test out for the CC is because of going on site. Because the closest testing center to me is like over an hour and a half away.
Oh,
And
wow.
I got
Yeah.
confused. Yeah, ISC 2 is on site only. So that's another really important thing to point out. And like the palm vein scan, like I understand why they're doing it, but still, like that's data that they will always have. Like that's some
But
pretty intense data.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
That's biometric right there.
And
But-
they may take your temperature too.
Temperature.
Yeah,
What?
you're going to be in a closed room. Yeah, you're going to be in a,
What?
Yeah, the center I went to it's one room and closed. So make sure nobody has a virus or any germ going in there. They have fever before you go in there. Yeah.
So here's another way to think about it though too. So they do a palm vein scan. Well, what is the difference between that and facial ID, really? Because I'm sure that they have already, if they haven't already, they could easily just do facial recognition too. I don't feel it would be as nearly as
bad.
accurate, but still, they might do that on top of this. Like a lot of cameras are capable of that now.
I think that's a baby
Yeah,
step.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I
in
think it's a
case of
baby step.
yeah, they'll have your biometric info and you'll get 2 years of credit monitoring when they
Yeah.
get breached.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a baby
That's
step.
true.
People are less, get riled up with their palm than if you do their face. So I think it's kind of a baby step toward that.
True. However, there are methods that are already in practice for facial recognition in public spaces for taking your facial recognition.
When you go to any large event, Super Bowl, NCAA, when you walking up, they're taking facial recognition, running you through
Yep.
Oh,
local
really?
database, terrorist database. Yeah.
Oh yeah. You didn't know that?
Yes.
Yeah, I did a couple videos on that. Oh yeah.
The state of North Dakota, there's there's a policy that I came across before. And so the state of North Dakota actually sells your facial recognition for your driver's license to the federal government and other agencies or private companies for those purposes to make sure that you're not on a terrorist watch list or
Yeah.
you have, whatever else.
Yeah.
You coming through the
So-
airport, man, your face is right on. Somebody behind looking at you coming through the airport, man.
Yeah, and so that's what I'm saying is that I'm surprised that maybe they are doing facial recognition too, but from my understanding, a lot of the locations that they do the exams are like college campuses and things like that. So they don't have as much control over that, maybe. So maybe that's why they don't have it. But I just find it interesting. Like it's kind of sketchy. So. But yeah, that's a really good point to point out. And then I had forgot about the fact that it's not even virtual, which honestly I think it's beneficial. Because at least if you do it on site, if they force you to have to go to a physical location, then you'd only be able to cheat it once even if you did it. So that would be really bad if somebody else's palm vein scan is on your paperwork when you go to test for the CISSP in 10 years. Like
That'll
that's
be a
crazy.
mess.
Yeah. I wonder how much that even costs.
To do
Like
costs?
it's all through the palm vein scans. Like I couldn't imagine that those systems would be cheap, much less
think-
like the
I think-
databases for it.
I think they're cheap because I think Recognition and Amazon, I think they have a package. I think you can use their package to do all of that.
Oh, that was something else that I wanted to share too. So this would really interest you, PBO. So I came across an article. I'm gonna have to try to find it again. But the Amazon stores that they markets that they opened up, like in California, where there's no cashiers.
Yep.
Yeah, so they got caught because apparently the
that.
systems aren't.
I
Yeah,
saw
the
that. Go
systems
ahead.
aren't working.
They had people
Yeah,
in
the
India
systems
reading
aren't
them.
working.
People in India was reading them. I saw that.
Yeah, they had like 1,000 people in India who was actually keeping track of everybody's stuff and charging their accounts because
I
the
saw
systems
that.
that they implemented weren't working.
What?
Wow, this is news
Yes,
to me.
it's
I saw that.
hilarious.
I saw that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to find the article again.
I saw
So
that.
yeah, so they're apparently there's systems that they have set up to keep track of like what you pull off the shelf
Yeah.
and keep track of all that, and then you just walk out the door. It was actually real people who have been doing it this whole time because Amazon could not come up with the technology to actually make it work, which is just mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I saw that.
You know what though? This is the problem with technology and development. Those Indian guys that were working for Microsoft and other IT companies that left India, now they have nothing to do but take their technology into the into the market and create jobs for themselves. These are the same guys that will call you and tell you, hey, IRS, is after you, or, if something happens to your credit card, they are now unemployed. So that's why they're out there. And they have the technology to do all this stuff already. They know how to do them. Unfortunate. I wish you can create a better environment for them to put their talent to use than ripping people off.
Okay, yeah. So like here's one article. So I don't think this is like the best article, but this is from USA Today that's talking about it. And so literally the title is, Does Amazon's cashless just walk out technology rely on 1,000 workers from India? And because this was like leaked, like a whistleblower or something was talking about it. So sensors, cameras, and deep learning tools sense what a customer takes off the shelf is what the website states. But then new information came out that their technology apparently was not dependable. And within just a matter of a couple months, they had to actually go through and hire as many as 1,000 people overseas to watch cameras to keep track of everything. And Amazon still, so what it says is about 700 out of every 1,000 just walkout sales had to be reviewed by Amazon's team in India in 2022. According to the information as reported by Business Insider, internally, Amazon wanted just 50 out of 1,000 sales. So the original plan was to only have to manually fix 50 out of 1,000, so 5%. But it ended up working out to 70% or 100% manually conducted.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
that. That was crazy.
That's crazy. I found that pretty interesting. Yeah, and so that was as of April 4th.
Amazon, Amazon had a bucket 3 last time too with their cloud.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah, see,
open.
if that was posted on April 1st, I would have seriously thought it was a joke. But yeah, that's interesting. Hop over to your thing here in a minute, PBO.
Yeah, I'm about to drop. I'll see y'all over there.
Okay.
Go figure.
All right. Thanks, man.
Yep, I'll see you later. I'll see you in a
All
minute.
right.
Yeah, I was just looking up some of the information for the palm vein scan technology. It's not exactly something that they, just publish the pricing for, though. I'm going to do more research on that, though. I'm just kind of curious. All right, let's see. Yeah, does anybody else have any other topics? Here in a minute, we'll end this at 30 after, and I'm gonna go over to PBO's channel here.
Oh, one more thing, guys. Are you guys aware the federal government is hiring? USAjobs.gov.
USjob.gov?
Yeah, USAjobs.gov. US government is hiring them.
Yeah, and so that link that I dropped earlier too has all those internships too. Let me see if I can go back to it here. Let's see. Trillo. Oh, I think I still have it up. Yeah, and then here's the link to PBO's stream that he'll be going on here in a minute.
Okay, yeah, I need that link.
Yep, and then so here's the intern and apprenticeship again. So I'll drop this in chat again, but I think this would be worth taking a look at because most of these are paid internships or apprenticeships. So I haven't really dug into it too much, but if somebody is trying to look for work, this would probably be a pretty good place to look for if you're in the US.
Okay. The link is here. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, and thanks for joining, Zuyuki. At some point, I'll get the name down.
How you pronounce it?
It's Suyukti.
Oh, so Yukti?
Yeah, it's like SU is pronounced Su, YU is U, and then there's a KTI. That might be tricky.
Suyukti. Suyukti.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, you've told me how to pronounce it like 6 times now, but yeah. Um,
Don't worry, we're gonna keep learning.
I sometimes struggle with it though. So even with other people's names, like I'll have to read people's names like 3 or 4 times.
Mm.
No problem.
Yeah, we covered quite a bit tonight, so not bad at all.
So I have a question for you. If you can if you can give an advice to anybody, basically a new person trying to get to GRC, what advice would you give them?
New person trying to get to GRC. It depends on what's their background, because
Let's say in the
so
sales industry.
So you're asking for a friend, right?
A friend?
It's a joke.
it's the question about how do we get into GRC, or what's the
Yeah,
GRC?
like what advice would you get them to get into GRC? Like what route? What advice? What you think it would be
So
good for somebody to do?
maybe I'll give my example. Like I did my CISSP last year because I wanted to go deeper in cybersecurity. And then come January, I wanted to apply for cybersecurity jobs, but I didn't know what specialization. And then I thought maybe I should try GRC, but I really didn't know if GRC is something I want to do or not. And then I didn't know what people even do in GRC until I took Dr. Ojer's course, right? There, what are some of the basic things that what does governance mean, risk or compliance mean in terms of the role for a GRC person? So I understood what it entails to work as a GRC person after going through that course, the basic level. And then working with Chris and Cesar, you all, we are doing that framework, understanding the frameworks and audits and assessment and all that, right? So
Correct.
So I would put all of this together. For somebody to get into GRC, maybe get a sound understanding of what GRC means, or what are the different types of roles within that, what specializations we want to get into. And also, for me, I think the best thing that's happening is networking and volunteering. In-person networking, especially going and meeting people and connecting with them to see what we can do in that GRC space, right? That is also something beneficial. And people say you don't need to have IT. That is maybe true, but also having some basic understanding of IT, some basic familiarity of IT really helps, because then we are able to connect the dots across all the domains of security, right? So I hope I answered you.
Yeah, yes you did. Yes you did. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. In terms of
Yeah,
certifications,
go ahead.
in terms of certifications, I know there was a lot of conversation. I've been talking to various people. So I feel like it's kind of balanced. Like some people recommend all the gold standard certifications because there is like our profile goes up in to the vendors or even companies who are looking for people who are certified. But at the same time, we also need to have some balance with hands-on activities. So I would say having both is good.
So Yukti, what are you doing right now?
Right now, I'm trying to get into a GRC job. Actually, I'm doing a lot of volunteering with
Oh, so
IS.
you're doing volunteer, that's what you're doing?
Yes, I do a lot of volunteering with ISC Square. I meet people here in Dallas with the ISC Square Dallas chapter.
Oh,
And
you're in
they are,
Dallas, Texas?
yes.
Ah, we need to link up one day. I'm in Austin. I'm literally 3 hours from you.
Yeah, we have to.
Oh, you are in Dallas?
I'm in Dallas.
Yeah, I'm in Cedar Hill.
So where are you?
I'm in Cedar Hill.
Cedar Hill. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Which is your
Yeah, and
okay.
I
Have
wanted
you
to add
done
on
any
there that
technical role?
I don't know if you guys know this, but here in Austin, I don't know in Dallas, but here in Austin, there's like a cybersecurity conference basically almost every week. There's actually one right
Yeah.
now. This week, searching, they
what
probably
was
have a
that, Min?
Dallas chapter. They have one in OSWAP. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Who
Yeah.
was? Yeah.
OWAPs, yeah. I went to their chapter and I actually met um one of the guest speakers. He actually owns a company for physical secure pen tester. It's actually kind of it looks kind of cool breaking in banks and stuff like that legally. But
Yeah, and
go right ahead, Chris.
Min was asking a question there about her technical expertise.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go right ahead.
Oh,
My
guys, it's 8:30. Don't forget about PBO. It's 8:30.
She'll wait. Yeah,
Okay.
you can transfer over if you'd like. Thanks for joining, Dawn.
So what was a question on my technical background?
Yeah, he was
No,
asking
like
if you had any tactical hands-on or
Yeah. I mean, I started my career in storage area networks, which
okay.
which was all the network configuration and NetApp and
Hmm.
broker things like that. And then I did identity access management with Sun Solaris before Sun was even acquired by Oracle. So it was way long back. And then I moved on to software development and architecture with Java, SAP, ERP space, followed by
Mm-hmm.
project management. Recently, I was with Cloudflare in the IT planning and governance team. So that's where I felt
Okay.
like maybe I align well with the GRC space.
So you're not gonna pursue IDEM anymore?
I'm open for many things. Maybe I'm just trying to do one after the other. Right now, I mean, I picked GRC, but I'm really interested in whatever comes my way.
No, I think we should talk. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll like set up a time. You added me on LinkedIn as well, so I want to
sure.
know more about your background.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
damn.
There we go.
Uh,
Networking. Hey, Ming. I mean, I need a job too. So
And you're already the
well, so
CISO,
I
man.
wanted to,
Come on.
yeah, I wanted to add on top of that question too, is like for me, I was originally positioning towards blue teaming, and then I kind of came across Simply Cyber, and that's what got me more on the GRC side as far as interest. And so it's the same thing that got me like pivoting towards blue teaming is looking at it from a high level. I was like, okay, I'm interested in IT. Okay, IT security really interests me. And then I just basically worked my way down from a high level view and then kind of navigated my way through. And because like a lot of the people I talk to, they don't really understand how broad InfoSec is or how broad IT is or how broad GRC is. There's so many roles and positions and everything involved underneath each one. And I think it's really important to understand where you want to go. So, just kind of working from a high level of understanding and then you kind of figure it out on the way down. But figuring out like what you want to focus on, I think is really good. Because I mean, like working towards like compliance is completely different than like working towards just risk management. Like there's different things that you could focus on, or even like on the governance side with all the different roles that are out there. If you figure out like exactly what kind of position you want, you go on LinkedIn or a job board and figure out what people are requesting and then start working on those skills. There's definitely generalized skills that you could work with, but still narrowing it down really, I think, is beneficial.
I agree. I think we need to understand what the company actually is looking for. And most of the
Mhm.
companies, they're looking for someone to just come in and understand what framework that they want to comply with. And they're just taking it as a check, but you really need to make them understand that there are some benefits to actually do the thing that you're supposed to comply with.
Yeah.
So that's the frustration with GRC, but other than that, it's a pretty good field to be in. Uh, but I would answer Caesar's question. You're in sales.
Hmm.
I would think if you get into more of a sales position for cybersecurity solutions, that would be a really good job for you. But that's my 2 cents for you.
Yeah, you honestly, you're not the only one that has told me that. I have found so many connections, to be honest with you, with the job I have right now. It's crazy, and a lot of people just tell me, "Hey, just do sales." But that's the thing. If I wanted to do sales, I would just stay in my previous position that I had. I honestly want to do GRC specifically, like cybersecurity. Right now, I'm in a position that I I don't want to say lucky or not. I'm good with my job in the sense that I don't have to worry that much about income, that I'm willing to stay what I'm doing now into I get a GRC. I know where I want to go within GRC. It's going to be third party or if not CMMC, even ITAR. That's why PBO even started doing the ITAR stuff. Um, but that's basically that's my thing, and I'm spending the time. I'm definitely putting the hours in for education. It's just I just want to do cybersecurity. I understand, but I don't want to have the word sales in front.
Yeah, look, if you really want to get into cybersecurity, you really need to understand the concepts behind it. Certifications would help you for the first job that you might get, but I still think that you're lacking basis, like basic stuff. So that's my advice that you really need to understand the basic stuff.
So you and I, give me a day, give me a time, and I'll be there.
That I've
Uh,
already given you a lot of opportunities for you never message. Fuck you, man.
so yeah, and I don't think that could be understated at all. Like, there's not an easy route. There really isn't. And so like what you're doing now with working towards that Sec Plus, that's a great first step. And then you'll have the IT side of it pretty much figured out, at least for the basics. Um, but I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Like just doing it and not trying to take an easy route on it. I'm not saying that's what you're doing. Like you've worked on quite a few different things now and gone through a lot of it and made a lot of progress in a short amount of time. But especially with how broad everything is and how much stuff is involved with it, like it takes time. It's not something that somebody can learn in 6 months and be ready.
I think reading something and then applying it is a different story, right? We can sit here and talk about
Mm-hmm.
risk management for hours, but when you're working in a business and actually doing risk management, that's a totally different thing. A lot of factors kick in. So if you know the basics of what the training that you're doing, but you're not thinking about it in a applying kind of way, it's not going to lead to anything. That's the main thing.
Yes. Yeah.
It's either because you're the seesaw of LinkedIn, send me a message. I will come to you. You are my shining light. I will come to you, buddy.
Oh man,
All right. All right. Yeah, I'm
I'll
gonna go
set
ahead
something up.
I gotta
and
go.
end it
See
here.
you guys.
And so anybody watching this, reach out to Min Min on Discord. He's more than willing to help everybody out. He's got plenty of time available. He is in
Same to you.
Australia though, so keep that time difference in mind.
What's his
I
name?
really love your
What's it?
sarcasm, Chris.
Is this a joke or are you for real?
No, he's for real.
Oh
He's
no,
he's
Min.
no, he's in the industry. He's in the industry. He's not joking when he says that.
I
He
know
likes
he's in
playing
the
Yeah.
around.
industry, but I just want to know if it's open to people reaching out
Min
to
Min and
him.
Man,
PBO.
Yeah, I'm
PBO,
more
I
than
know
happy to
that.
help.
Okay. What's your name on Discord, please?
No
I
idea.
can send it to you.
Oh, thank you.
Uh-huh.
But Chris, leave cybersecurity, go into like stand-up comedy. Your sarcasm is on point, man.
And yeah, I'll have a slide prepared for the start of next week, presenting Min for the community
Maybe.
mentor.
Oh yeah, okay, you can do that. Yeah, I
Thank
don't
you,
mind.
Min.
All right.
Thank you,
Yep.
Chris.
Well,
See you
thank
guys.
you all for joining here. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream, and then we'll be meeting up again next week on the 8th. So May 8th.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
All
Have a good
right,
night.
No
thank you,
problem.
everyone.